All right. Hey, y'all. How y'all doing? I am here. I am here. Of course, this is the Legendary Women check-in session. And you know what? Every time I have to do this, it seems like as of late, something always comes up. But you know what? To God be the glory. I'm not going to complain. I'm not going to talk about it too much because I get upset. Right. But I know what? This is an appointed time. This is something that I know that I felt in my heart and led to actually come on live today to do a little check in. Hopefully, you guys can hear me a little bit better. But I wanted to come on and do a check in for all legendary women. Why? Because we need to be checked upon, okay? We're doing a lot of stuff out here. We grinding, we building empires, right? We living our best lives. We're doing a lot of things. And listen, sometimes we get a little tired, we get a little weary in well doing. But the Bible says, but in due season, we will reap if we faint not. And so I wanted to come on here just to give you a quick word of encouragement, right? To kind of see how you guys how are you handling the pressures of life? How are you handling the stresses of life that come in that try to steal your joy? I want to see how you guys are doing because listen, I don't know if you've seen it. I've shared it several times on my live, but honestly, mental health is a major concern, not for some people, but for all people. Mental health is a serious concern, and we have to make sure that we are checking in on ourselves, but also allowing somebody else to check in on us when we need help. And sometimes we get to the point where we're doing so much, we become so overwhelmed that we forget to ask for help or we forget that we're not supposed to be feeling like this. And so we try to take care of things on our own. And honestly, sometimes that doesn't work out. And so I just wanted to come on here to check in and see how the women are doing. Okay. Because I know I haven't been on here for a while, but I wanted to see how you guys were doing because listen, we carry a lot of weight, don't we? We carry a lot of weight when it comes to the responsibilities that we have on a daily basis. We are wives, right? We are ministers, we are pastors' wives, we are mothers, we are teachers, doctors, lawyers, financial advisors. We work full time jobs. We work full time jobs, but then we also got a business that we run. But we have a husband at home. So we got a lot of things that we're trying to do. We got big goals, we got big dreams. And listen, today I decided to wear my dream painter jacket, as you guys can see right there. I decided to wear my dream painter jacket because I felt like painting my drapes. Okay. And I wanted to I actually had an idea to come on looking a little bit different than what I look right now. Not that I'm perfect or nothing, because listen, I already know. Okay. But I wanted it to be apparent that it doesn't have to look perfect. It doesn't have to appear perfect. It doesn't have to be perfect in order for it to go. Okay. And so I want us to get to a place, and it's really something that I'm working on personally myself, but get to a place where it doesn't have to be right all the time. Everything doesn't have to go the way you think it should go. And us having the mindset that it's totally okay. It's not the end of the world. Right? There's many days left. There's time left. As long as we got breath in our bodies, we can do something different to change our situation. And so we don't have to have that pity party saying, man, I don't want to do this. I don't want to do that. I whatever, right? We can still do the things that we want to do, but give ourselves grace as we go about this journey called life. It is so important for us to give ourselves grace because if we don't give ourselves grace, we got to understand that other people may not give us that. And so sometimes what other people feel and the way they view us is something that we carry. We hold on to that, and oftentimes we find ourselves in situations where we're making decisions based on what other people's opinions are of us, and that is a dangerous place to be. And I'm sure that we can say, if we're honest, that we have all been there at some point. We allow the influence of others to dictate or predicate what it is that we were going to do and what we were not going to do. But today is really not about all that. Today is a day where I want you to have a peace that passes all understanding in your spirit so that you know that it's going to be okay. It is going to be okay. It is not going to always work out the way you think it's going to work out, but it's okay nonetheless. I wanted to come on here to give you that word of encouragement because sometimes we get into a deep pit, a horrible pit. We get into a pit and we don't understand even how we got there. The longer we entertain negativity that's happening around us, the longer we entertain the issues of life, the longer we entertain the things that we don't have, we can get into a place of depression. And so I don't know if you guys have been watching my shares at all, but I've been sharing some Bible studies that I've been doing with my church on mental illness, mental health. Mental health is so important. I have to tell you, definitely for Black women, we are at the top when it comes to those who need that assistance, who need to talk to a counselor, who need to talk to a therapist. But just try being Black in America, period. You're going to need some counseling. Why? Because racism. But then as a woman, we have sexism. We have a lot of different things that we're dealing with and working at a job and not being paid what we're worth. And so, going through all the things that we have gone through just as a person, as people, trying to get a business off the ground, trying to get the support of your loved ones, your family, your friends, trying to compete but not compare, trying to, walk around with a smile on your face, trying to do different things throughout the day, wearing the makeup, wearing a mask oftentimes. People asking us how we're doing and we say, I'm good. How are you? But yet and still, we are still seeing more Black women taking their lives and they are falling privy to suicide because that was a little bit more tempting than your how are you? How are you doing? See, we got to make sure that we are checking in on ourselves and each other. And so I know that it was just a couple of days ago. I don't know this young woman's name, but man, she committed suicide. Absolutely beautiful woman, young girl. She probably was like in her 20s. I don't know. I can't recall her name. But if you know her name, put her in the chat. It's been all over social media. It's been all over social media, but she wrote this long text to her boyfriend, ex-boyfriend. I don't know their relationship, but she wrote this long text and she was just talking about how she had already been struggling with thoughts of suicide before she met him. And it's not like suicide is something that doesn't come to everybody. It's a spirit. Let's just be real. It's a spirit that sometimes we wrestle with because we feel like the world will be a better place without us, or we feel like we would be better off dead. But how are you better off dead? Tell me what you're going to experience in death. See, it really depends on what we're talking about because if you think that taking your own life, if you believe that taking your own life is going to end your problems, you are sadly mistaken. And that is a trick from the enemy. That is a trick to have him to cause you to believe that the world will be a better place without you. There is no way. See, God placed us here for a reason and a season. But the season is over when God says it's over, not when we say it's over. And so I wanted to do this check in today because I understand that as women, we are dealing with some stuff that we're not talking about. We're not necessarily talking about it because we feel like we can't talk to anybody about it. We feel like people going to know our business and now they're going to repeat our business. But sometimes when you're in a desperate situation, if your house is on fire, I'm sorry, but you don't care what the people look like who's going to come and take the fire out. Who's going to help you to put the fire out? But it's like this, ladies, we on fire right now. A lot of us are on fire. We got a fire happening right now within us and we need help, but we won't ask anybody for help. Why is that? Because the enemy will have us to think that there is no hope, there is no help. Nobody will understand. I promise you, if you really talk to somebody who's going to be real with you, they would tell you that they maybe have wrestled with some of the same things that you're wrestling with. There's nothing new under the sun. And so if you confided or found someone who you can confide in, then confide in them. But as women, we are not robots. We are not supposed to just go and go and go and never take a care for ourselves, right? Never, sitting down and maybe just listening to some music with the no social media, just sit and listen to some praise and worship, or whatever you listen to, or just sit there quietly and just reflecting on the day, reflecting on your goals and dreams, thinking about the things that you want to do in your future, your purpose, the things that God wants you to do, the things that God is saying about you in the Word of God, thinking about your family, planning for the future, wanting your children to go to college, wanting your children to have a legacy, wanting all these things, but never taking the time to actually think about it and process your feelings and your emotions. We have gotten so busy that we have forgot to check in. We have forgotten that our mental health matters. See, we've been talking about Black Lives Matter. We've been talking about Blue Lives Matter. We've been talking about all these matters. But what about your mental health? See, the Bible says that I would that you would be in health and prosper, even as your soul prospers. So, how can your soul prosper if you were not in health? And we're not just talking about your physical health, like, exercising and eating right. That's part of it, of course, but we're not just talking about that. We're talking about your mental health. And see, when we talk about mental health, people would like to, tag somebody as being crazy, but that's really not the case. Sometimes it could be, right? But that's not all it is. And so when we think about things like that, we think about anxiety. What am I anxious for? We think about different phobias that we might have. We might have OCD, where everything just got to be perfect. We got to always be doing this, and this. We may be bipolar, some of us. We may need medication, some of us, and that's okay. But we can't ignore our mental health. That is a part of us. That's part of our makeup. And honestly, we don't want to lose sight of the entire package that we're supposed to be having stewardship over. See, God gave us these bodies, these vessels temporarily. We are on layaway. Let's just say that. We're on layaway. We don't belong to ourselves. We belong to God. And God said, I need you to take care of that for me until I come back for it. That's when he comes back for it. Not when we decide that we want to be done. But I understand. I understand how you could feel that, I just want to end it all. I mean, let's be honest. Probably everyone who's reached a certain age and a point in life who's been through enough things have felt that way at one point or another. I have, right? Or being depressed, being clinically depressed. And I'm not saying that I have ever been clinically depressed, but I'm talking about what we go through as women. We can't ignore the depression. The depression, when you wake up in the morning and you were depressed the night before, and you wake up and the spirit of depression is still sitting right there with you. And when you go to work and you're trying to strive and do your business, the spirit of depression is right there on your back. And until you deal with the spirit, I promise you, it's not going away. So we can't ignore that stuff, but we gotta put that stuff in check, right? And we gotta speak the word over these things that will come to destroy us in our lives. If you look in the Bible, there are many people that were depressed. You can look at David. David lost his son. Of course, the way his son came to pass was a problem, but he was grieving because his son was sick and eventually his son died. But what did he do? He actually had to praise and worship. He washed his face, he anointed himself, and he kept it moving. But it's not to say that he didn't deal with that first. And so we can't find ourselves, and I won't be on for much longer, but we can't find ourselves so busy that we never make time for ourselves. We can't find ourselves so busy that we can't silence the noise for 30 minutes. We cannot. be so busy that we forget that we have to be stewards over our minds, our bodies, our spirits. We have to remember, even if you got to write it down, even if you got to put it on your calendar, on your schedule, and you say, you know what? This is my quiet time. I'm going to protect this time and I am going to spend some time with myself because I need that. I'm going to spend some time not working for 30 minutes because I need a break. It's okay to be driven. It's okay to be purpose driven. It's okay, right? It's okay to be driven, to be purpose driven, to want to do and accomplish so many goals in life. But at the end of the day, you are the vehicle, and that vehicle will break down. That vehicle will have some accidents. That vehicle will have some trouble if it's not maintained. And so we got to maintain what we got. We got to take good care of what we got. We got to go out and take a walk sometime. Maybe just sit down at the park and watch the nature. I did that a couple of weeks ago. I had some breakfast and I just sat in the car. I ate it. Okay. And I was just looking around and I felt like such a sense of peace. And sometimes you just got to find you a little corner, honey, and get you some peace in your life because this world will eat you up. Do you hear me? This world will eat you up. Something as simple as you starting something brand new that you've never started before. So not only do you have a little, you may have a little anxiety about it because it's something new, but you're starting something that you've never done before. And so just imagine now going on social media and looking at other people who are doing it. And now you're like, wow, I'll never be able to do it like that. And now that becomes a thought that you're feeding, that you're allowing to feed you. And so you're looking for more examples and you're getting more and more and more discouraged as the day goes on. And now instead of getting that peace and having that confidence in what God called you to do, now you find yourself in a comparison trap. And now that comparison trap, because that's what you're focusing on, what you focus on grows. Now that is now putting you into a little light depression. Now that little light depression that you never checked, you never went back and said, and of course my computer would be about to die, but I'm about to plug it in. And you never go back and say, you know what? No, I am good enough. God called me to do this. I trust that He is going to be with me, and it's gonna come to pass, and I'm gonna make it happen. We gonna make it happen because greater is He that is in me than he that is in the world. So we don't do stuff like that. What we do is now we want to have a pity party. Now you're looking for I wish I can get my wording together, but now we're looking for affirmation from outward. We need somebody to tell us you're doing a good job. We need somebody to tell us that we can do it. We do not need anybody's permission. You don't need anybody's permission to be great because you are already great. When God created you, you were great. Now you got to recognize and come into the manifestation of what He said. Now, He already said that you were great. He already said you were a champion. He already said that He gave you peace that passes all understanding. But do you tap into that? See, we got to remember that God gave us the keys, but we have to unlock the doors. Wouldn't it be so crazy for us to be walking around with keys to our home and we sitting outside on the porch waiting for somebody else to let us in our house? I'm gonna let that sit right there because I know that was good. I know that was good. So we just gonna sit around with the keys in our pocket, and we go to this person. Man, can you let me in my house? They like, no, I don't have the keys to get into your house. Okay. We go to the next person. Man, you got a key to my house? They like, no, I don't have the key to your house. Now you go to the next person. They like, wait a minute, don't you got some? So now you go to one person who was using discernment, and they say, hold on. I hear keys. You sure you don't have your keys? And then you're like, oh, I don't think I have any keys. Now that person got to help you find the keys. Now, that is the role of a coach. A coach is going to connect with the vision that you have, and they're going to help you to bring that out. They're going to say, no, you have keys. Now it's up to you to pull them out of your pocket. I can't do it for you, but I can help you to get there. I can make sure I hold you accountable to get there. But we will walk around with a whole set of keys to all type of doors and we will not unlock it. We got to do better. We got to do better. We want peace. Unlock the door to peace and sit down somewhere for a minute so you can get some peace in your life. It is nothing wrong. Listen, all the work that you got to do, it'll be there. And I'm talking to myself. I promise you, I'm talking to myself because I am one who is a perfectionist. I did my son was hounding me to do this personality test. I did this personality test, and I'm telling y'all, it was on point. It was so on point. I am a perfectionist. I believe in going above and beyond. I help and help and help even to a fault to where I'm the one that's getting hurt or getting the short end of the stick. That is me. And I understand how I'm wired, right? So understanding that, but also I use that as a learning experience because I understand that I will stay up for 8 hours to make something happen and I'm tired. Prime example, today, I was up late last night. I was up very late last night working. I went to bed like 2:30 in the morning. Why? Because I'm crazy. Okay. Because I'm working on a goal. I'm driven. I'm trying to get something done. And so then I wake up early. I go to bed. I wake up really early in the morning. And I'm laying in the bed and I'm just working in the bed. Then my friend calls me and she was like, "Man, you coming in the office today?" I was like, "Yeah." I was like, "You know what? I was thinking about that, but I said, yeah, I'm gonna come into the office." So I went into the office. I'm on an appointment, and I'm literally losing my thoughts. Like I'm trying to do this appointment, but I understand now. I'm recognizing the cues, and I'm like, I am tired. Like I did not get any rest. I didn't have nothing to eat today, and so now I'm just not I'm not functioning the way I normally would because I'm doing too much. And so I said, I need to take a break. And when you recognize that in yourself, you got to tap into it. I had conversations with at least two or three women over the last couple of years who have told me that they realized that there were signs and different things that came about before their health issue came on full fledged. There were different things that happened that they noticed, but they didn't do anything about it. So we don't want to be in a situation where now we're sick and we fell out and it was something that started out so small that we didn't put in check and now it's just full blown. It's a full blown problem right now at this point. We don't want that. So we got to take time for ourselves. It's okay to accomplish your goals and dreams. It's okay to be driven, but you got to take rest sometimes too. You got to get that peace as well. You don't want your mental capacities to be so overwhelmed that now you become depressed and now you have anxiety when you don't have to be that way. But even if you do and you finding out that that's something that's consistently happening, listen, I'm not a therapist, I'm not a medical professional, but go check in with your doctor. It's nothing wrong with that. It's nothing wrong with getting a therapist and Jesus. I say that all the time. It's nothing wrong with getting a therapist and Jesus. We don't got to be perfect. And I understand definitely us as black women, we always trying to put on a front like we got it together. Listen, no, we know you don't. You're not perfect. You wasn't ever supposed to be perfect, but we have a perfect God that in our weakness his strength is perfected. We don't have to put on a good front. We can do the best that we can, but I'm not about to be nobody's superwoman or Wonder Woman or whatever because that's not who I am. That's not my role. My role is to do my part. Do all that I can do. Look at my hoops. Do all I can do and allow God to do the rest. The other day, and I'm about to be done with this. The other day, I was just reflecting on some of the things in my life, and I was just like, I see, and I had to really ask God for forgiveness because I'm like, I'm seeing that over the years, I've had like a God complex where I'm trying to be God. Like I'm trying to control all this stuff and controlling these outcomes. But that ain't even my role. I got to stay in my lane. That's not what I do. I'm supposed to trust him. I'm supposed to stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. I'm supposed to do that stuff. Those are the things that we're supposed to be doing, not trying to make something happen, not trying to end life. Okay? There is a creator of life and there is an ender of life. And neither one of them is me. Okay? It's not me and baby sister. It ain't you either. So we definitely have to take rest. We have to take inventory. Take inventory of what's happening in your life. Do not ignore it. Put it in check. And I want to come back next week and do another check in with you ladies. So that's my time for the day. I don't plan to be on here every week for no hour and 2 hours and all of this stuff because that becomes overwhelming. And I'm like, I know how I am. I like to give to a fault. I'm learning that about myself, and that personality test that I was telling you guys about, it really showed me some stuff about myself that I always thought was true, but man, it just brought it out. It was crazy. But I'm just so thankful and grateful for clarity on today and understanding and knowing that we are God's chosen. That feels good, doesn't it? We are God's chosen. So because we are God's chosen, we don't have to strive. Come on, somebody. We don't have to strive. We don't have to strive because his strength is made perfect in my weakness. I don't have to strive. You don't have to strive. We may have these goals and dreams, but man, who is our partner? Our number one partner is Jesus Christ. We got to remember that he is not a silent partner. How about that? He ain't no silent partner. He is very present. He is a present help in the time of trouble. That's what my Bible says. He is a present help. And so we got to look to the hills from which cometh our help because we got to know that all of our help comes from God. It comes from the Lord. So help is available, you guys. So please, please, please do not suffer in silence. Do not try to put on a front if you know that you're not there. And what do I mean by that? If you know that you're having issues mentally with depression, with anxiety, with whatever, you need to get help for that. Don't try to put on some makeup and say, okay, but I'm just going to put an outfit on and I'm going to do my hair and I'm going to feel better. No, that's not always, that's you. Sometimes you need a little bit more than that. Sometimes you need to sit down and talk to somebody and allow somebody to listen to you. Sometimes we need that. Sometimes we need to get away for a minute, turn the phone off. Sometimes we need that. But whatever you need, I pray that you get what you need on today. And man, I look forward to being back. Hopefully, I can be back next week. I hate to say I'm going to be there, and I'm not. So I'm going to see how my week goes, and I'm not going to overwhelm myself because I do that. But I am going to post again when I'll be live. Hopefully, that will be next week. But I pray that something that was said today is something that helped you and assisted you on your journey as you're going out being the legendary women that you are. And as you know, the legendary women is the phrase that I've coined out of the Bible for the Proverbs 31 woman. The Proverbs 31 woman we know was out cold, right? She can do all types of things. But listen, she had help too. Okay. So let's not ever get it twisted. She didn't do it all by herself. She may have been, the bomb.com, but she had wisdom and she utilized the resources that were at her fingertips. And so let's remember that part too. We don't got to do it all. We don't got to be it all. All we got to do is live. Amen. All right. That's my time for today. I will look forward to seeing you guys again soon. Take care. Signing off.